Welcome, everybody. This is Hometown. Welcome to the BOSEMAN podcast, episode 18. We got the whole cast here. We got God 44. We got DJ Raw the Fool. And, of course, we have Jasmine Renee. What's happening, people? What's happening, family? How y'all doing today?
What's up?
Straight. Happy to be back.
All right. We didn't do a week. And all of our guests are just kind of like, we'll let you know. So, hey, no guest episode. You know what I mean? And want to get straight into the music. Some new music came out. New music releases. Some from new artists. Some from some up and coming artists, and also some from a legend. Where we want to start? Jazz?
All right, wait. Before we get into the music,
where we going?
We going. I just got to make my personal PSA. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, I never really was a fan of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just kind of made songs that was already hits and kind of redropped them and auto-tuned his voice up like 6 octaves, and then apparently it was a hit, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and get my Jesus and Meryl to say allegedly. I'm gonna sprinkle the allegedlys, but he allegedly upped the shirt on a female and shot her in the foot.
Hey man, Meg said he did it.
It wasn't allegedly.
Don't know who I'm talking about. Is bitch ass nigga Tory Lanez allegedly shot a female in the foot, an unarmed female like that. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
Meg said he shot me.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool, but now it's an eyewitness account, and it didn't go through the proper channels because she tried to protect him. So that's why I gotta say allegedly, because in the court of law they gotta go ahead and do their thing, go ahead and determine who's guilty or whatever. She did say it, but I gotta sprinkle the allegedly because I ain't about to spew no slander. I ain't hometown with the KAASH Big John shit, but. You know what I'm saying? I gotta sprinkle my allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't playing that nigga music no more. Not that I played it a lot, but don't y'all ask me for no fucking Chicks tape. Don't y'all ask me no motherfucking New Toronto. Don't ask me for none of those songs because I'm not playing a song from a nigga that shot a female, shot a black unarmed female. I'm gonna go back to what we talked about. Roughly, probably like a month ago, 2 months ago on the podcast.
Yeah.
And what's the name? When No Name was getting at J. Cole.
Yeah.
Hometown had to school me because I was like, yo, it ain't that bad. It is that bad. I got to go pull myself up. It is that bad because this nigga shot a chick in the foot. Like, whenever you pull a gun on somebody, you can possibly kill them. Now, I'm going to just say that. So you almost possibly killed. I'm not playing no more of your fucking music, nigga. I hope you hear it. I ain't playing no more of your tracks. None. Right. You pull your ass back to Canada and teach your ass some kindness. Ain't y'all supposed to be nice up there?
Hey, man.
That shit gay. I'm sorry. I don't like it, for all the people.
We all agree. Man.
Totally.
Tory Lanez's Global Party is set in stone.
Yeah. Fuck quarantine radio.
Yeah, man. All his bad stuff. Like,
we good.
I joked around because my homeboy was like, hey, man, you think he did it? And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Him and Meg was in the web. And he was like, yeah, girl, let's do this. Let's do that. And she was like, nah. He's like, damn, why you tripping? And she's like, shut up, nigga. You like fucking 5 feet with a fake hairline. And then he like went off. That's what I said. But after him, it's like, that's possibly what happened. This nigga obviously has an ego problem. Whatever. Like, I've heard about that from niggas, like, yeah, man, was talking shit, shot him. It was like, oh, damn, nigga wildin'. But a black woman, like, what are you doing? Just a woman in general, unarmed. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, right now it's fucking for life, and if you get convicted, it's fucking for life times 2. Because that shit crazy. That's all I have to say, man. I wasn't here last week to say it. So I'm gonna say it now. And I had to say it to pull myself up for hometown. I was like, hey man, you gotta understand. Black women don't feel safe. And I'm like, I felt like an all lives matter ass nigga when I saw that happen. I was like, oh, is this what I was doing? Oh, I was an all lives matter nigga. So, yeah, man, that shit is terrible. And I gotta, if I was Charlamagne, I'd give myself donkey of the day for even trying to be like, but it's a big problem because that shit crazy. And she tried to protect that nigga. She tried to like not say, and you know, there's all the things like, you know, black and police and guns, being fearful for your life. That's cool. But all in all, even after all was said and done and she got dismissed from the hospital or whatever, she still ain't saying nothing. She still tried to go ahead and hold it down for you. And what'd you do?
Yeah, man, she had hit me. So one of my
no, man. You said you just shut up. Nobody knew what was going on. She kept that in the raps like Chadwick Boseman cancer.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And that nigga had to come around, talk. I'm like, dog, that's like 2 flagrant fouls, nigga. You out the game. You done shot somebody and then spoke ill and said some shit that like wasn't going on. Nigga, wild. I'm sorry, listeners. I know y'all didn't tap into the Beats and Chill podcast. You can go ahead and go on about this guy. But if you did want to hear that, you're very welcome. But yeah, moral of the story is don't ask me to play no more of that nigga. I could care less. Straight up and down.
And I'm just, at the end of the day, as long as Meg is good, I'm good. You know what I mean? She just did a live performance yesterday.
Yeah.
So, you know, she seems like she's good. She's in better spirits. And that's, at the end of the day, we glad that it wasn't worse. Because like you said, she could have died.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows what artery she missed. You know what I mean? So thank God she's still here. And I'm glad that there are people, celebrities, male celebrities and hip-hop artists specifically that are speaking up about the situation. You got some who are still kind of being like, I don't want to speak on it, you know, the Boosies and all of that. But the ones that are, you know, I'm glad she's getting that because Bun B really made it apparent that, like, she doesn't have her mother or father. You know what I mean? And she's not at home.
She's low-key out here by herself.
You know, so.
Hey, to be honest, man, I think Tory Lanez is dealing with the same thing though. His parents, I think I can't forget who it was. I think it was either his mom or his dad like had passed away or something like that, and the other one just wasn't in his life. So like he probably dealing with those same issues as well.
Maybe so.
Maybe ain't dealing with enough to make you shoot a woman that's coming on. You're gonna have to be a man and control your emotions, my guy.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think there's nothing in this world, I think, outside of like maybe PTSD from war that will make you just pull out a gun when you're not around like someone who's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck how mad. I've gotten hella mad at basketball games. Niggas fly you real hard. I done got real mad at fucking clubs or whatever. And if I did have a gun, nothing was like, I gotta kill this motherfucker. Like, nothing that made me like, I have to kill you. You deserve to die.
Well, actually, alcohol does.
Give me my file. You know what? I'm gonna pop the trunk on your bitch ass. Give me my file.
Alcohol does that.
Which I mean, I get that, but a lot of times I just feel like alcohol only pushes or
intensifies what's already there.
You know what I mean? So he got a lot of work he need to do. Right now, he almost took somebody's life. And can you imagine if he would have took that girl's life, he wouldn't have been able to live with himself. Because a lot of people wouldn't allow him to live his damn self.
No.
All I know is if he would have shot Kylie Jenner or Taylor Swift in the foot, it would have been a whole lot different.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been a whole lot different.
That's facts.
But they might have snitched on the scene as well. I don't think they would have been trying to protect that nigga. So there's a lot of different variables there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that shit terrible. And like I said before, don't ask me to play that nigga music.
However, I did
Moral
go,
of the story.
the other night when I got the news of Chadwick Boseman passing away.
Yeah.
I did go and watch like theater reactions of like Endgame and shit to put me back in good spirits. I like watching little theater reactions when they see like, you know, the ending moments and stuff like that. But yeah, man, Chadwick Boseman been dealing with colon cancer for the last 4 or 5 years. So a lot of these films he's been shooting, you know, he's been diagnosed and been dealing with, you know, chemotherapy and all this, that, and the third.
Apparently for a long time, 4 years, right?
4 years, man. Like he didn't have to keep that a secret. Like he should have told somebody. Like somebody
probably knew, but they kept it like real under wraps. Because imagine everybody
No,
knows he
his
got
PR
cancer.
it don't matter,
team
man. Like it don't matter. Like we can't keep keeping these things secrets. Like there's people out here that can actually help with these situations. Like
I don't
there's
know.
somebody named
I'm
Dr.
pretty sure
Stevens,
he was
you know.
doing that.
I don't know.
I'm
If
sure
they,
he did everything he could though. Like I don't think he was just like acting and not taking care of himself. It just
Yeah,
got
they
to
say
the
he was
point where
doing
he couldn't
treatment.
do nothing.
They say he was filming that doing treatment. So
yeah, I think it's a thing too. Is like, you know, he's gonna
treatment.
I think that actors have a whole like separate life from like regular civilians. Like that's like viewed differently. Like a lot of the media, what we see when it comes to like advertisement, movies, TV shows, stuff like that, we see it as it's promoted to us. A lot of these actors and whatnot, they know and see a lot of things before it happens, or things that don't happen that they've been working on. So, you know, it's probably through the whole ecosystem of the whole Hollywood world, you probably don't want to tell people that because then that may pull certain things away from you.
That's like Denzel Washington's son didn't want to tell people that Denzel Washington was his dad because
Right. Which
like
I don't understand. I mean,
that nigga want to make it off the strength. I know nepotism is the real thing. I would have took it. You know what I'm saying? But all these stars, they don't want to get it like that. But the one reason I could say is like that is because what's the first thing when somebody get up there and do their thing? Like, oh, you know, he's just up there because it was a name. They hate him.
Is exactly right.
It's the whole negative perception. Everybody want to hate immediately when they see you up. They don't want to think that you got it on your own. They don't want to think that you work for it. They're like, oh, that's because his dad is X, Y, Z. Think about the rich nigga in school, man. The nigga had the J's or the nigga had the polo. You'd be like, oh, man, that's because his mama's working downtown. Like, it was an immediate hate just because they had their parents was in a better position.
Niggas gonna hate regardless, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But they don't want to hear that. They just figure, hey, let me go ahead and try to.
Don't be ashamed of your privilege.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. You say whatever. Y'all gonna be hating me like Donald Trump's son in this bitch.
That's fine.
Damn, this nigga just got everything.
Hey, but rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. You know, Black Panther. Man,
I saw this tweet that said, don't tell if you have like sons or daughters and nieces and nephews, don't tell them that Black Panther died. Tell them that the actor that played Black Panther died, because they don't need to see the first hero that looked like them to be dead. I was like, that's cool. I also saw another tweet that said, do not recast Black Panther. Open up whatever new movie and have a funeral for him and use one of the Infinity Stones to bring back Killmonger and make him good, right? And make him the Black Panther. I was like,
I think Killmonger ends up
Michael B. Jordan be Black Panther.
I think in the comics he becomes Black Panther, and like through the comic series, I think Shuri becomes Black Panther. I think he becomes Black Panther. Like he becomes Black Panther, but I don't know.
There is one where the sister becomes Black Panther, right?
I know Shuri becomes Black Panther after him.
My dog Chadwick didn't get to marry Storm and kiss him.
Yeah, that would have been so crazy.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
They'll figure it out, man. They'll figure that shit out. You know what I mean? But like I said, it was just sad, you know. But yeah, man. Seeing the social media response, it was like surprising. I was literally playing on the laptop, and then I saw the text, started seeing it on Twitter, and I'm like, uh-oh, how did this fucking happen? And then you got people that's like, you know, oh, y'all's picking on him and stuff like that, you know, and some people like, well, the ones who did make it, was like, I didn't know he was sick. And I learned a long time ago with 50 Cent when it was back in the day when it was media takeout. They posted pictures of a real skinny ass 50 Cent, and it looked like he was sick, but it was like he was doing it for a role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, you never know. So I never be the first one to jump out with a joke like, oh, this nigga Nick look like a damn noodle or no shit like that. You know what I mean? He's probably. But I did see the small chat with Boseman. I'm just thinking, oh, he's probably doing for another, like, working on a role. Like, Jamie Foxx is gaining weight to get for the Mike Tyson role. Like, you know, actors live a whole different, like, lifestyle than regular civilians. They can change their weight at months at a time. Like, you know what I mean?
The first time I saw him slim is when I watched the Kevin Hart documentary. And Kevin Hart on Netflix. Okay. And one of the episodes, he came in there to talk to Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart wanted a movie and yada, yada, yada. And I saw him and I was like, damn, Jit looked kind of slim. But he didn't look like sickly slim. He just looked more slim. And I was like, oh, he probably put on weight to be Black Panther because to be a superhero, you got to be buff. And I was like, all right, probably he wasn't worried about keeping up that regimen. And now he's slim. You know what I'm saying? That's all I attributed. I knew he was like, a little too slim, but I was like, hey, that's probably him. I don't know the man. So I was like, probably that's how he really looked. I was like, damn, he got real buff for Black Panther, and I left it at that. I didn't see any of the other, like, sickly pictures, I guess, that he had been posting. I didn't see any of those until, like, now that he's passed. And I was like, oh, had I seen any of those, I would have knew something.
Yeah.
But he was very, very slim. It was like that, like Charlie Murphy in Power. When you see Charlie Murphy in Power, he was like, ew, what's going on?
Yep.
Nobody knew what was up, but everybody knew it was like, he does not look like that. So.
Well, I knew Charlie Murphy had cancer at that time.
Oh, really? I did not know.
I knew he had cancer. It was already out that he had cancer. But it was like people were showing pictures of his weight loss. But yeah. I knew Charlie Murphy at the time had cancer. It was just like at that time it was like a matter of time. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Damn. When that boy James
Black Panther in the same year, man.
When James said Patrick had to kill that boy, I was like, damn, no, you killed the nigga with cancer. You a cold piece. You a cold piece. Y'all don't want to laugh? I was fucked up, but I'm like, yo, you like now you gotta punch him. You know, the director's like, you gotta hit him like this. I know he had to be like, I gotta hit a nigga with cancer. Like, I would have been like, can I just like push him and he hit his head on some Final Destination shit? That's just me. What's up with y'all, man? Lighten up.
Let's get into this music, man. Some music done dropped over the past couple weeks.
No ceilings on streaming services.
It's now on streaming services, man.
Yes, it's my shit. Watch My Shoes is my favorite song out that whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. No ceilings, motherfucker, good morning.
No ceilings, motherfucker, good morning.
Dick in your mouth while you're moaning, I'm going in. Gutter while they style at me.
No. You can read that. You can read that like Bible verses.
Facts.
That whole song. But I'm not. I guess I done said enough negative shit. I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm gonna just leave it alone. But yeah, that's tight. That's on streaming services. You know what I'm saying? For those that have been rocking on that pill for live mixtapes, it's never been off the internet for us.
Nope.
But I guess you could add it into your new current hip hop playlist.
I see a lot of people wanted the Drought 3 to be on streaming services.
Oh, that's my shit.
That would never happen though. Just because of all the samples, like Upgrade You and all of that.
I mean, it's the same thing with No Ceilings. So I don't know how they splitting the royalties and the paychecks for that.
True.
Yeah.
It'll take time. You know, niggas don't really feel like. I think he did this to hype up release for No Ceilings 3. That's why I really think he did.
There's a song called No Ceilings that just came out with him, Ferg, and somebody else.
Yeah, I saw that. Thought that was kind of weird because that
they might be dropping No Ceilings 3. That might be on there.
It might be on there, yeah.
Oh, Lil Wayne's on that song?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, I need all the dedications on.
I played like once I saw that, I went back and played Carter 4. Wasn't a bad album, man. I went back and played that.
What made you do that?
Because I went to No Ceilings and just played it, and then you can see all the other Lil Wayne albums. So I just went to Carter 4, just to like, let me go back and look at the track listing. And I was like,
but why'd you pick 4? Because there's 5 to choose from.
Yeah, I'm like, why 4?
Why you went? That's your favorite number?
I think Carter 4 was one that I felt left a bad taste in my mouth when it first came out.
So you don't want to revisit it to see if it still tastes like white people Kool-Aid.
I don't know. I guess at that time I didn't like it. It was just, I don't know. So I wanted to go back and be like, was I just tripping then, or was this like bad? I don't know. It wasn't bad. I was just probably tired of hearing She Will and fucking the other record he had on there.
What's on Carter 4? Is Blunt blowing on Carter 4? Is that the one?
I know fucking hold up. I think How to Love is on there.
Oh.
Blunt blowing is on there.
Okay.
6 foot, 7 foot.
The moral does it still taste like Country Time Lemonade? That's what I really want to know.
I don't know about that, brother.
No, what you mean you don't know? You went.
Don't know about that, brother. Don't know about that, dude.
Does it taste like Kool-Aid now with enough sugar, or is it Country Time Lemonade?
It's cool, man. I listened back to it. I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that at the time there was a lot of other music that I probably enjoyed more. But who else dropped? Nas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Country Time Lemonade. For those you saw, he tried to dodge the question. It's still it's Country Time Lemonade with a little bit more sugar, but it's still not what he wants. He's like, I just drink water.
Mm-hmm.
That's all good. Whenever I go back to Carter's, I go back straight to part 2. Part 2. That's the first. You know what? I want to hear some Weezy. I go there and I play that starting from the mob, and then whenever I cut it off.
I like Carter 1.
I like 3. 3 is probably my favorite.
Who's your favorite? Part 2, he was still on some like talking about killing niggas and shit. Like, damn, Weezy, but in a creative fashion.
I think Carter 1 had like more fun songs like
let's just talk about
Earthquake.
Yeah, that was on there.
Yeah, that was my shit.
Tampa classic.
Yeah.
Tampa classic.
Right? Like,
you would think that song was made in the studios down here the way they be.
I listened to Teenage Favorite by KAASH PAIGE.
It's an amazing album. I love it.
Yeah.
It's real good. Probably should listen to it. Put it in your little R&B list.
She kind of reminds me of like an upgraded. What's her name? The girl from fucking Detroit. Try Me.
Dej Loaf.
Yeah, Dej Loaf. She kind of remind me of like a better singing Dej Loaf.
I love that album she got going on right now. Like, she got some good features. Most of the songs she got by herself are really good too.
Yeah, my favorite song on that bitch is Grammy Week. I like Soul Ties. That's my shit.
Ooh, that's the jam.
My favorite 3: Grammy Week, Soul Ties, and Friends.
Okay, all right. I like SOS.
That is good.
SOS is real good. Soul Ties and Breakup Song. That's my shit.
Yeah, with K Camp. Yeah, K Camp slid on that bitch. She got that feature with Isaiah Rashad. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I don't think he really killed the song for real, but
no, I don't really like that song that much because his verse is very mediocre to me.
I was wondering why Jazz said yeah like that. He goes, "You got that song Isaiah Rashad?" Yeah. I was like, I was expecting Jazz to turn up. I heard Isaiah Rashad. She said, "Yeah." I'm like, oh yeah, he must have not.
That verse is pretty mediocre.
That's cool. I really like Grammy Week a lot. You know, I'm a huge Don Toliver fan, so.
Don Toliver on the Nas album too.
Yeah.
I was scared. Oh man, my bad. Go ahead, continue to talk about the album.
That was segueing into the Nas album.
Yeah, we on the Nas now.
You know, I didn't want to take the mic. But when I saw Don Toliver was on the Nas album, I was scared to what it would have sounded like. Because I didn't know if it was gonna sound like Nas was trying to go too new school. Like Nas is just one of those dudes when it's a new beat, newer sounding rap beat, whether it's trap or has a lot of 808s, I don't really enjoy.
Yeah, he did a remix to March Madness with Future, didn't he?
And I was like,
Nas?
Yeah, Nas is on the official March Madness remix with Future. Like Kendrick's on the Mask Off remix.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's a good song. The remix is good.
I mean, it was straight. You know, I ain't too much care.
That was when I realized there are different beats for different people. Like, I was like, oh, you know, that as March Madness came out, I'm not gonna care. I was still on some like, yeah, this is cool sonically, but I'm like, the fuck is Future saying? And then when Nas got on there, one of my favorite rappers, and I was like, you know, he can articulate well, and I was like, not sliding on this beat. And then with Future rap, I was like, Future sounds amazing on this beat. And then I was like, yep, this is what it's about. And that's when I was more open to listening to, I guess, more non-lyrical or more like people that just use their voice as instruments, not so much for the words, but just for how it sounds. And I was like, yep, this makes total sense as to why they don't sound bad on these type of beats. So, but yeah. But back to what I was saying, I thought he was gonna sound. Oh snap! I got a tech. I gotta go ahead and mute this. So I thought he was gonna sound like, I didn't know how the beat was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like one of those, like Hometown's example, March Madness. I thought it was gonna be like that. But what I gotta go ahead and give props to is Hit Boy. I think Hit Boy produced Nas very well on this album.
Yeah.
He didn't try to make it sound too new. He didn't try to make it be like, oh, this is the wave right now. This is what you need to do. Because everybody knows Hit Boy. Got all the hits, boy. But everybody knows he got it, and he knows how to make a beat from like right now that makes it sound like very much 2020, and it'll slap or whatever. But he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I was pleasantly surprised when I heard Don Toliver on the beat, how the beat sounded, how Nas got on the beat, and I was like, oh, this shit kind of went together pretty well. So.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably one of the. I don't think I've thoroughly listened to every Nas album. I know I may have touched over a few albums that wasn't necessarily his most popular. I definitely, as far as the Illmatic, Stillmatic, I played the hell out of. I found out about Nas through Stillmatic when I was younger, and then as I got older, I went back to his discography or whatever. But and then one of my favorite albums growing up listening to Nas was God's Son. I really enjoyed that album at the time when I was in high school. So like those albums were to me like what Nas sounded like. So when I heard like the Nigga album and the fucking even a more recent one, Nasir, that Kanye produced. Like to me, I didn't think it was a bad album, but I did think that it was a bit way more dramatic. It was very Kanye dramatic for Nas. You know what I mean?
That album seemed rushed to me.
I mean, they were all rushed. I think that was the point. I think the point of it was to kind of get a raw feel of like Good Fridays, but like the album version. Because they were dropping an album every Friday, every week.
Yeah,
And
but at least Good Friday, the songs were engineered and mastered well enough where I could hear the beat and then his vocals. On that Cop Shot the Kid, that sample was so loud, I couldn't even really hear Nas rapping on the song because
really?
the sample was so loud. Yeah. Like I had to like consciously like listen to Nas. Like I had to be like, okay, Nas is rapping, like let me hear what he's saying. Like it wasn't like his vocals like laid smoothly over the track.
Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Adele,
Adele,
Thirsting over.
with the cornrows. Hey, Adele, you think Adele trying to get a black dude? She'd been grabbing the mic, rapping Nicki Minaj, rapping
I
for
seen
Beyonce.
that.
Think she wanted somebody effort? She about to get on her Madonna shit.
And who you over there DMing, Darius?
what?
That,
I'm working,
that
bro.
nigga is focused. You seen him, right? You seen him.
Oh my goodness.
I'm over here working, man.
You working.
Oh my goodness.
But
He working
nah,
now. He got Adele with a Jamaican top.
the Nas album, I kind of get, like I said, I get some of all the bad things I heard from people about Nasir, I understand. But at the same time, like, I really like that fucking song with him and Kanye. Like, that's one of my favorite songs off the album.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He had a couple other records too. I can't necessarily remember because it's a very forgettable album. The moment is more memorable than the actual album. But this album here just flows so well. Like it just flows so well. It's not overproduced. There's no try hard moments on here. He had one line that sticks out to me where he said, "I'll shoot you in your esophagus," and I was like, this nigga just had to use esophagus on this fucking album. But of all people, he just had to use esophagus. But whatever. But it wasn't.
My line like that out of the albums when he goes, "She hit the wall." And I was like, "No, that was that."
Hey man,
I see what you're doing, but yeah, you have to say that.
let Unc cook, man.
Yeah,
But the album to me was great. My favorite song on there is Car 85 because I like Charlie Wilson.
Car 85 is pretty fire.
You know what I mean? You know, sprinkle some Charlie Wilson on there. Can't go wrong, man.
Yo, that one track with the Firm, bro, Full Circle.
It was cool. It was a cool moment. It wasn't one of my favorites though.
That beat
slid on that. They slid on that.
AZ just does not sound bad either. AZ sounds exactly like he sounded on Illmatic. I was like, yo, still his voice inflections are still the same. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think the moment was cool. One thing I feel like, well, a lot of the good albums that I realize is that we're not going to get no tours with some of these albums, which would really make these moments a lot better. To know that you see that tour date and know that you could probably enjoy this music better live. But this album was really good, man. The album was really good. The features were dope. I even liked the song with A$AP Ferg and Fabio Foreign. Like I really
Fabio, bro. Fabio, man.
You stay saying Fabio.
It look like it's saying Fabio.
It don't look like it don't say no goddamn Fabio.
I don't see no F8. It's Fabio.
It's Fabio Foreign, bro.
US.
It's Fivio.
Fabio.
How you spell 5?
Oh my God, bro.
How you spell 5?
It's Fabio Foreign, bro.
That doesn't sound right.
Yes, it does, bro. Fabio?
Fabio. It's 5.
I mean, it's a made-up word, so I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, I liked the song regardless. The Don Toliver record was dope. I feel like him and the girl KAASH PAIGE used Don Toliver the
very well.
best way.
Yeah.
Use him on that hook, and you're good to go. I really enjoyed this album.
Anderson .Paak is pretty good too.
The who?
The one with Anderson .Paak.
Yeah. Yes. Blue Benz is nice. I really like Blue Benz. How did y'all feel about the Big Sean verse on there?
The Big Sean verse was all right. I think it did what it had to do for that song. I like when Big Sean usually has a feature, he usually owns it and makes it his.
Yeah.
But then again, if he's paying respect to the God MC, then he probably just was like, let me just go ahead and drop this off real quick. You know what I'm saying? So
Did
it
y'all
was
listen to the Big
Ain't
Sean?
that Eminem on I Decided? Smoke
cool.
Eminem.
Eminem was gonna do what he does, especially since you wasn't at that time. You wasn't getting many Eminem verses at all, if any. So
His ass.
he had plenty of time to body whatever the hell he was.
It's not in here.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't mind.
Yeah, I'm ready to see more visuals. I think now is the time where artists need to get more, put a lot more time in their music video bag.
Oh hell yeah! That's
Since
all.
they can't go on tour, you know, really put more visuals to the album. I think he dropped one video.
Yeah, the Ultra Black.
Yeah. And then I heard that Doja Cat has a song coming out called Nas, but it really stands for niggas ain't shit. But
The chorus to that song is pretty fire. I heard that snippet, but I don't know how I feel about Doja right now.
Yeah, dog. She on the internet showing feet to racists.
Show your feet, man. Who cares?
Yeah, cancel her ass.
You want to count.
You've been trying to cancel her since a few episodes.
Hey, listen, man. Cancel culture don't even believe in cancel culture.
There's no light skin woman.
They just be talking shit just to talk shit.
Facts. All facts.
Yes, sir. Man, who else dropped? Oh, I listened to DUCKWRTH album. His album was really fucking good.
Have not
The
heard
name
it.
of his album is what was that? Where's that bitch? Oh,
Y'all heard the Nipsey and Big Sean?
Nipsey and Big Sean record, yeah. The Reverence.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Super Good is the DUCKWRTH album. He has a record on there with Earth Gang, which is smooth as a motherfucker. But it's a very fun album, groovy as fuck. You know what I mean? But he got bars on that bitch. Really cool ass album.
Who else dropped? Vic Mensa. Vic Mensa, bro.
The V tape.
That shit hard.
Is he back to like the internet tape sounding Vic Mensa?
Yeah, somewhat. It has some of the elements from that, but this one, like he seems like he's more on his He seems like he's more on his. Dang, I don't know how to put it.
He seemed like he's very in a place of like he's understanding what he was tripping on.
Yeah,
like he mentioned about the XX diss he did at the BET Awards, and his mom was in the crowd when he did the freestyle cypher shit. He just talking about just a bunch of just past issues and what he's been going through. Which it was cool. It was a cool listen. I'm glad it wasn't long because I don't think I could have took more than fucking 10 to 12 songs of that. But the V-tape was cool. I think that the Vic Mensa I like is the Down on My Luck Vic Mensa. You know what I mean? I like Orange Soda Vic Mensa, but that Down on My Luck, that's a pocket where he's when he in that pocket, there's a lot of people that can't really fuck with him in that pocket.
Yep.
But yeah, the V-tape was cool.
I wonder if he still talks to Chance.
No. I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Why you say that?
I don't know. Well, then again, I don't know, man. A lot of them niggas seem just out of touch with just reality. Chance one of those people who seems kind of just like, I don't think he understands how much he's changed to the public with like fame and money and all that stuff. And I think he's let this pushing this weird, his definition of independence has like gotten to his head. And I feel like it's affected his music and it's affected his like, maybe not affected his relationships, but just like the way a lot of people view him. Like a lot of people feel like this might be up for that nigga.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? I don't think so. I think he has his talent.
Is interesting. I am.
You know, once I got the conspiracies, I'm ready.
I think his talent, because we've seen how talented he is, it's reserved. That's why I don't feel like it's over for him. But just, you know, like I said, I think that he's a different kind of celebrity, and his celebrity, I don't think he like I think he's one of those people that like he's like a celebrity gaslighter. Like he's gonna gaslight the public, even though we call him out on his shit. He's gonna like try to flip it. He's not gonna be straight up and just answer questions or like understand where. If you call him out on his shit, he's not gonna be like, yeah, you're right. He's like, no, it's actually this though, and it's just like he's been like that.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? He's been like, that's how he's been with pushing the whole independent thing, you know? And obviously, I just feel like he's tone deaf and like don't know how to read a room when it comes to putting out albums. And I think the album, not saying that the album's it's not a bad album, but it was not, I didn't see growth as we saw in his previous releases. You know what I mean? There was growth from 10 Day to, you know, Acid Rap. There was growth from Acid Rap to the project he did with Social Experiment. You know what I mean? And then there was growth from that to Coloring Book.
What kind of growth was you looking to see? Like, what didn't you see that you thought you were going to see?
I thought I was going to see something that was going to be like a solidification of like, oh, this guy solidify himself as I deserve to be the name recognized out of the 2010s. When it comes to the era of the 2010 rappers that came out between 2010 and 2015, I'm going to be one of the elite when it came to moments, when it came to the bodies of work. You know what I mean? Like, I could.
What do you think that album was lacking that it did not give you that feel?
I think it lacked. I don't think it was marketed well. He's usually really good at the way he markets his projects.
That is true. I agree with that.
Which is what captures his fan base to me, I think, and keeps that mystique of his indie prowess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that he didn't market it well. I think that he's put himself in a place to where the jokes are stronger than the jokes are more funny than the music is good. You know what I mean? Like, before you listen to that whole album, you're gonna probably play videos of people picking on Chance the Rapper more. Like you probably play the I love my wife. I love my wife.
I knew it.
You know what I mean? Like you're gonna probably look at more memes and listen to more funny shit about Chance the Rapper because the jokes are more funny than the music is good when it came to that album. So
I cannot disagree with you there, sir.
But I feel like he still has it in him. I just think that I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, the nigga married now. We'll see. Who knows? But I don't know, man. It was weird. And then like I don't know. He kind of has that same negative thing on him that Mace had. It was like, nigga, make up your mind. Which is it? Is it Uchi Wally or One Mic? You know what I mean? Is it the church, or are you finna be, you know, flashy Mace out here? You know what I mean?
Uchi Wally or One Mic.
You gotta be like Chance the Rapper kind of has that too. It's like, nigga, you gonna give us hits and vibes, or you gonna, you know, do your thing and try to make up for cheating on your wife, cheating on your girl. You know what I mean? Like, which is it?
Wait a minute.
That's the thing. He came out there and talked about that.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, like he's been talking about like he cheated on her and you know, she's been, you know, dealing with a lot of this bullshit. So now he's like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I'm in a good place right now. I'm engaged. Da, da, da.
This is wild.
This is like the conversation he's having when he was doing his radio runs to promote the album.
Oh.
The album is called The Big Day, which is his wedding day.
Which is his wedding day.
So he was just talking about like all those things that led up to the album, the creation of this album, why he wanted to go with this album. So, you know, and I think he had another kid too. He had another kid. They was having another baby. But you know,
why you be knowing everything?
I watch a lot of interviews.
I watched a lot of interviews too, but I didn't know he cheated on her.
Right. I didn't know this
Yeah,
stuff.
man. I watch a lot of interviews, watch a lot of YouTube.
Oh yeah, I don't got no cable, so we out here with the YouTube.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm a child of hip hop, man. I stay on it.
Oh yeah, I stay on it, of course.
But yeah, I don't know
Okay,
why.
so that was very introspective. I had to ask you because I was like, okay, Chance. I just be like, okay, Chance. I don't really have an opinion, but I just want to know what other people think. But well, you did make some valid points, sir. So
But I want to bring it back to the Big Sean record with Nipsey. So obviously we all like the song, right? It's a great song. We heard a snippet of it during the versus battle with Hit Boy and Boy Wonder. So with that record, right? Now I know we had some words on Twitter. I told you that there was something that was bothering Big Sean when it came to Kendrick Lamar. There was something there. And Big Sean, the thing is, it wasn't really anything, but it was more so it's like camps or people outside of their camp that they're close to is making big deals of the shit. That's making it like, all right, I'm gonna kind of give some subliminal bars here. I'm gonna give some subliminal bars there. But them niggas is like, nigga, I don't have no reason not to like you.
Wait,
cool, man.
No, that thing you said about subliminal bars, I just kind of want to pull you up on that because when the nigga did the pull up with Joe Budden, he said he goes, when I would make songs, I would not make subliminals. I would rap just to rap, and I'm always gonna just throw shots at. I'm just gonna be like that kind of braggadocious rapper because that's what rappers do. We just say we're better than the rest. We say I'm this and you're not that. He goes, but none of those was focused at Kendrick. He goes, I didn't know it was a thing because he goes, yeah, I kind of heard about it. He goes, but I didn't really like pay any attention to it because me and Kendrick were cool. It wasn't until somebody came up to him that was like you said, within the camps, that was like, hey man, so what's up with you and K-Dot? Y'all straight? And that's when he was like, damn, this shit might have spiraled way out of control. I should have said something about it way back when people thought it was a thing. I just thought if I ignored it, it would just be straight. Right. So that's when he ended up like calling Kendrick, and then they had their little discussion. So I don't think this is what I'm saying, because from the horse's mouth, he was like, I didn't make any I didn't rap any subliminals to the nigga. I was just rapping. Yeah, G, put on speakerphone. Tell me in the podcast.
Yeah, you just answered the call.
My fault, man.
But yeah, that's all I had to say about that. But continue your rhetoric, sir.
One thing about that too, when it comes to rappers like the Kendricks, the Big Seans, the Drakes, the J. Coles, you know what I mean? These guys are of the top tier elite in the rap business today. Like today, these names hold the biggest weight when it comes to rap, right? And they are very fucking witty and really, really good and professional. So I tend to believe that half the time when they are on these interviews and they say certain things, I can't sit here. I just honestly don't feel like all that shit is true that they say. I do feel like they mean like, you know what? I know whatever I say in this interview is going to take off. Like if I'm on an interview, I'm going to be responsible if this takes off. Now, if people make up things on the record and stuff like that, you know, if they catch, I could say a subliminal, and if they take it and run with it, they can. But it's on wax. It's not really like I called this nigga out, and they can't just run with the story as if I gave like it's a credited source. It's just a record, right? But there's no way. These guys are just too witty for me to think that y'all say certain lyrics that just feel like it connect too closely to certain peers, and it's like nothing. Like I don't believe that. I don't think that these guys see each other and it's like, fuck you, I want to knuckle up. You know what I mean? Like it's on sight. But I do honestly believe that, yeah, it may be, you may see Drake, right? And you know Drake is this #1 top tier guy. And every time you going, like, who else are you going to go after? The niggas that don't fucking matter? You know what I mean? So in your mind,
But why do
doing
you
these
have
guys,
to go
it's not
after
real.
somebody? Like that's my whole thing. My
What?
scope on shit is just totally different. Like, why do you have to go after people? What is the whole I gotta go after this nigga?
Cause that's just a spirit of hip hop. It's an element of hip hop that has always been entwined in like in battle, and then it comes to that in the form of like that battle can not just be on stage in front of each other, but now it's just on wax. It's like, all right, my bars got to be better than this guy. It's just hip hop has always been rooted in like competition.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree with that. But to me, my bars got to be better. It's totally different from I got to go after this guy. If you're trying to go after this guy, that means you're trying to belittle him. If you're just trying to make your bars better, you just want your bars to be better than whatever nigga is rapping. You just want your bars to be better.
but yeah, but that I think is way more complicated than that, because there's 1,000 ways to have a raw verse. That raw verse could be belittling somebody, like, oh shit, y'all, you heard how creatively he dissed this nigga? That's a element of having a raw verse. Or another one could be putting the motherfucker on game, like, bro, did you hear the game this nigga just put in this song? Or just to be it could just be the way you said something or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But it's thousands of ways to make a raw verse, and I think that a lot of rappers feel that, you know, that is effective coming after people, and not necessarily putting their name on wax, but just to have the idea of I'm finna rap at this fake person, and this because a lot of people like to listen to music. They like to hear raps that sound like that. I'm tired of hearing these nice rap niggas. I want to hear a nigga, you know, say that he the best and he raw and da 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 da. I want to hear niggas talk that shit, talk your shit. You know what I mean? So yeah. I get that, but I can't help but think of when this same thing was happening between the whole Drake and Kendrick thing, right? And it was more information there to prove why Drake and Kendrick didn't like each other. Like, Drake is on record, on interview, saying, like, kind of low-key dissing Kendrick's moment. He got asked about the Control verse on fucking Crown with Elliot.
Yeah.
And Drake was like, hey, that was a real dope moment. That was a real dope moment for hip-hop for like a couple weeks. And then people started laughing. And then he was like, but hold on. I'm serious, but hold on. If I ask you this, how does the verse start? And then people started laughing. He was like, you know what I mean? It's like you're disrespecting that man's shit. You know what I mean? Now, does he have real beef with Kendrick? And when people, you know, when old head niggas, you know, hear beef and rap, it's like, oh, it's on some like what we thought the Tupac and Biggie shit was like, or the Eazy-E and fucking, you know, Suge shit. Like, that's not that. It's still here today. You got that with the 6ix9ine shits and you know, whoever on that Instagram shit or whatever. But what we talking about with these niggas is like, I hate the fact that they make it seem like there's no competition between them. You want to outsell this nigga. You want to have the classic album. You want to have the best album. You want to do that. Like,
I don't get that. Though. I don't get that there's no competition. I don't see that happening. Like, I understand everything that you're saying. I just don't necessarily agree with some of the outtakes that you have of it. But I agree. I can totally see like your scope and your vision that you have on it. I could totally see it.
When Drake said that shit about Kendrick's verse, and then Kendrick later that year went on the BT Hip Hop Awards and was on the TDE Cypher, and he said something about we tucked the sensitive rapper in his pajama clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's been the same since we tucked the sensitive rapper in his pajama clothes.
Like that.
What album came out that year?
That is a
Nothing
shot
was
because he used the name of his album. You know what I'm saying?
But then Kendrick had that fucking eye hat on, and then we're going to interview and like, hey, what's the any issue between you and Drake? And then Kendrick like, oh my God, I wish people would stop saying that. Man, it is cool, man. It's nothing between me and that guy. It's like, bro, you literally high-five Kendrick after name dropping his album and saying some slick shit. Drake really went on an interview and said some shit, basically saying, all right, the shit was cool. Y'all hyping this shit up. Like, come on. If y'all throw shots is cool, we ain't saying y'all out to kill each other. But
What if
stop
they
acting
just
like y'all
doing
niggas
that
don't throw
shit?
low key
What
shots.
if that's their way of trolling? What if the only way of trolling is not 6ix9ine trolling? Like, yeah, nigga, you trash, and I seen you was cheating on your wife, and your album didn't sell. What if that's their way of like, hey, nigga, I'm gonna go ahead and say this shit about you. Come back at me, and we just gonna say it's cool, but you know, we getting our numbers up.
Well, then that's some industry bullshit. That's the shit that we ain't supposed to see. But I'm not finna sit here and act like these niggas don't be having a line or two. It may be friendly competition, you know what I mean? Still sharp and still. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure all these niggas want to be like, I want to have a better album than you. I want you to have a great album. I want to see your best work, but I also want to top that. Oh shit, Kendrick, I'm gonna listen to this, get inspired, and I want to drop something better than that.
To me, watching these niggas, the top 2 niggas you talking about, is like the NBA All-Star game. You might play, you might get dropped off, you might get dunked on, they might shoot in your face, but it's not to fucking, unless you Kobe, because unless you Dwayne Wade, because
you say All-Star game, I say playoffs. I feel like anytime we know these niggas finna drop an album, if all these niggas finna drop projects this year, we in the fucking hip hop playoffs. And right now we get a chance to drop all this shit, and we finna see.
Even still, like, them niggas ain't really trying to like hurt a nigga and end his career. Like I said, unless you got a Dwayne Wade nigga, because when he broke Kobe,
ain't nobody trying to hurt nobody's career. You know what I mean? Like niggas is that, they cool, they families eat together. But they trying to win that ring though. I'm sorry, Carmelo. I know I'm LeBron, and I know this might be your last year, but I gotta see your own.
That bitch ass nigga, bro.
You know what I mean?
I mean that's true, but that has nothing to do with like I gotta go at you and I gotta do all this, and then we ain't, because the rhetoric that I'm hearing from you is like we really ain't cool, but I'm gonna just say this shit to make it seem like we really are. But in my head, I ain't cool with you, and I'm trying to fucking. No.
I think it's we are cool, and I'm going to take shots at you, but it's not like I fucking hate you and I want your family to die. It's not like I'm trying to fuck your bitch or no shit like that. It's more so if me and you in a ring and it's like we just signed up to be in a battle, even though I have no ill will towards you, my bars ain't gonna say that. My bars gonna be like, you know, these niggas can't compare to me. I'm the king, da 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 da. You know what I mean? I got the crown, blah 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 blah. Like they're going to say that. All these, you know what I mean? Like
that's true. I totally understand.
If Drake says,
to me, Drake and Kendrick is what you're explaining right now.
I'm explaining Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Crit. Crit be having bars for these niggas too. Like Crit be having bars for these niggas too, bro. Like these niggas be having bars for each other, but it's not like I hate you niggas or nothing like that. It's more so it's like they talking to a crowd. It's like they talking to a crowd of people, but they making sure that who's in that crowd, like, I want you to know, nigga, you need to hear this shit as well as the critics need to hear this shit. You know what I mean? Like I agree. That's what I feel.
Situation, like, that playoff situation you talking about was like, we in the ring and I gotta go toe to toe with you. To me, that's the Drake and Kendrick situation. I can totally see that with Drake and Kendrick. This Kendrick and Big Sean situation, I don't see it as that. Because this nigga Kendrick, like I said, I mean, Drake said the shit about the Control verse, and then Kendrick came back and put the name of his album in a freestyle on national television. He knew what he was doing. To me, that's a calculated way to be like, all right, you gonna talk some shit about my verse, let me get back at you. That to me is the playoff situation you talking about where we cool, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull you up.
There's a Big Sean verse where he says you rapping all fast, sounding like one big ass asthma attack.
You said that time and time again. You act like Kendrick ain't the only nigga that rap fast. What? He the only nigga that rap fast?
Put it like this: if it's LeBron James, KD, and fucking who's and James Harden and Giannis,
you gonna have to talk to God and you gonna have to talk to Jazz because you gonna tell me this. And
no, go ahead. I'm listening.
What I'm saying is like if it's only 5 big dogs in the game, right? It's a lot of dogs in the game, but it's only 5 big dogs at the top. So when I say some shit, I'm not coming after nobody under me. Nigga, I don't need to talk to you. You're not worth my breath. You know what I mean? This is for the niggas that I respect. It's for the niggas I respect. That's the only reason why I will say anything, right? I respect these guys because we all on the same fucking level, right? It's just like when Control Verse, Kendrick only named the niggas like, yo, these niggas on my level, and I mention y'all names, one, out of respect because I see you, nigga. But I'm letting you know I'm trying to beat you, nigga. I'm trying to come out on top. That's what that is. So all these niggas, they're not gonna say the whole list of names, but they still saying that same shit. They still talking that shit. So I feel like when Big Sean is coming out, when he's saying that shit, like, you niggas ain't fucking with me, the only nigga, da-da-da-da-da, like, these niggas is posting stats and saying shit because they trying to show, nigga, this is my rap sheet. Okay, you doing this shit over here at Apple, this is my rap sheet. Oh, okay, y'all niggas doing this in sales, but look at my Grammys, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, all these niggas coming
that line does not equate Kendrick Lamar. I hear everything you're saying, but that doesn't equate Kendrick Lamar to me.
And you ain't feel like the little bitch shit, the obvious little bitch, the little bitches that Big Sean kept saying before he dropped Damn on the Heart Part 4. You didn't feel like that kind of gave off some
little bitch
Big Sean
for the longest. He was saying little bitch on his album, his debut album.
No, on the Heart Part 4, on the Heart Part 4, that shit was like, you're making it's. You can tell when an artist is trying to make a term like a thing. Like, I want you to hear this shit. I turn shit, man, bitch.
You be reading some hieroglyphics that I ain't even on. Like, you would just be like, you want so bad for it to.
It's not. No. It's maybe like this. I really listen to these niggas, bro. I listen to these niggas like heavy, right? If these generation of rappers, I listen to everything extensively, right? And the reason why is because I think this generation is the first generation of rap to where they are really I feel like they all took shots at each other at one point, but they're all cool, but it's a very competitive, like, arena. And it's past these 5, it's probably like 20 niggas, to be honest. But it's a very competitive, like, era. And I think that because this is probably the most commercial era of hip hop, that there's so many, like, entities involved that they can't make it aggressive like it was back in the 90s when it was, like, dangerous. It's like, I want to make it competitive. I don't want to make it dangerous because I can't account for the nigga that Kendrick can't account for the nigga like he talked about. Niggas I brought up.
So since he said little bitch, like how Big Sean used to say little bitch 6-7 years ago, that means that was for Big Sean.
It's like it's Big Sean and he's small.
Yes, no question.
He's small.
And he calls him a little bitch.
Tory Lanez a little bitch too.
But you know Kendrick not talking about Tory. Right, like, why would Kendrick talk about Tory?
I want to revert back to what you said in the beginning. So I said in the interview with Joe Budden, he said this. He goes, yeah, I think he's smart enough to be like, so you basically don't, whatever comes from the horse's mouth, you be like, I hear you, but that's bullshit.
If it's in an interview, I know that, like I said, this is the most commercial era of rap. These niggas got multiple businesses. I'm talking about brands that are invested in them.
No, I don't want you to give me the background. I want you to tell me.
Dangerous. Once you start doing the whole 6ix9ine shit, just saying.
No, I ain't saying 6ix9ine shit. You know why I say this? Because when Drake did his last little shit or whatever with Elliot on Rap Radar podcast, and they asked him about the clips, he was like, yeah, clips, whatever, but yeah, I don't fuck with Pusha T. I never fuck with him again. He kept it 100. He could have gave a commercial ass answer and be like,
but that's different. The reason why that's different though, because Pusha T is not from this era. Pusha T is literally cut from the cloth of, I'm gonna bring your fucking name up and it's war. It's war. I don't like you, nigga. That's not Big Sean and Kendrick. That's not J. Cole or anybody. That's not even Wale and anybody. And if it was, they did this shit on Twitter, they'll have a moment and then it'll be reconciled. Like fucking Kid Cudi, he don't really diss niggas in rap. He'll just talk shit to you that's when he was like high. He would say, me and Kanye don't fuck with your music and shit. You know what I mean? Like he would go on interview and say this shit.
I hear you.
But Pusha T is like, fuck you. I'm not like these other niggas. it's always on with me. It's always on fucking sight.
All I'm saying
coming after
is
you.
Drake is a 2010 nigga, and he didn't have to give that kind of answer.
I know, but the difference is when a nigga does, no one else. I don't think J. Cole, Kendrick, or Big Sean has had a Pusha T come at them like that. They haven't had a nigga that's like, I'm fighting for blood. You know what I mean? Like Pusha T. So it's more so Drake has to be like, I don't fuck with him. Like he has to do that. At this point, I'm not making it. It's not about a beef or anything. I'm starting with you. You're gonna ask me a straightforward question. Hey man, Pusha T is outwardly saying these things about you. It's like, man, I don't pay no mind to that dude. I don't care for him. This, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole different situation. He is not going to say anything about like he will. I feel like it's a different thing.
There's no real beef. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you come at me and we coming for blood and I don't like you, nigga.
But I think what I'm talking about, there's competition. There's competition. If we say, hey man, I noticed this line, you don't sit there. I don't want you to say and come to me it's like, oh, we ain't beefing. I know y'all niggas ain't beefing. I know y'all don't really give a damn about y'all probably cool. But there's competition, so don't act like we don't. We see y'all niggas competing. We see y'all throwing the shots. It's fun, but it's competitive. I'm not sitting here saying like, man, I think Big Sean really hates Kendrick guts. Like I'm not saying that. I think it's okay. I see it. It's kind of like, hey nigga.
If it's just that, why in the interview he couldn't say like, oh yeah, he said some shit and I threw some shit back at him, but we'd be doing that all the time. Why can't they just say that?
The reason why is because I think the media will take any angle and twist it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So they're gonna take what a nigga say from his mouth and be like, I threw some shots at him or whatever because I be doing that and he threw some shots at me and that's what it is. What can the media spin if he says that and inadvertently the other dude says the same thing back to him? What can the media do if he's like, yeah, this is
the thing though. The reason being is a lot of times when they get these guys to sit down and have those conversations like that, it's during album runs. And when they have those questions are the questions that are going to be the main thing that takes away from the conversation about the album. So Big Sean is going to go on Breakfast Club to talk about his album, Detroit 2. Charlamagne is going to ask about, he's probably going to ask about the Nipsey shit. Or he's going to probably ask about the abortion or the child that they were supposed to have with him and Janae, which at this point, he'll probably talk about it because it's content that he wants to talk about on the album. But if it's like, hey man, you still beefing with Kendrick, this is like third, he's probably gonna nip it in the bud and hope that that's it. But they don't want to have those conversations where it's like, we're gonna push this narrative that's gonna take away from my album. I want to talk about my album. We talked about the whole Control verse and Kendrick verse, and we didn't say nothing about how we didn't talk about how, oh man, that was actually on the album. Or we didn't even talk about Hall of Fame album at all. We just talked about that Control.
Because Hall of Fame wasn't a good album. And that's why we didn't talk about it. Like,
but we didn't even talk about if it was bad. We just cared about the Kendrick verse at the time. And then when we talk about Big Sean's discography, then we say, oh, this debut was okay. The second album was trash. Third album was amazing. You know what I mean? Like when we talk about discography, but in that moment, all the attention was on the Control verse, and even though he literally said, like, we all cool, but I'm trying to murder you niggas, there was like, niggas took offense to it, and people played on that. Anybody that was mentioned, they was trying to look out what he was saying. They pushed that narrative more so than the actual music. So as an artist, if I know that, if I'm going to this radio station, and I know I got a heavy personality like Charlamagne, or somebody like Vlad, or whoever the fuck, I want to make sure that I keep my question, I'm gonna have this conversation. I'm gonna make sure that we keep the focus on the album and not any like stupid imaginary beefs. You know what I mean? So,
I'm gonna put it like this: if I'm famous and you famous, we blow up. We two niggas from Tampa, like, hey man, Hometown's a great DJ and he is content creator X, Y, Z. And then you blow up, hey man, Hometown's a great rapper, he's a great event curator and all of that. And then some come out, and then I was like, yeah, man, I saw Hometown every day with his fat ass. You know that nigga trying to grow dreads, right? Yada, 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 right? Somebody takes that shit, and it was like, oh, man, he was talking shit, this and that, or whatever, right? So then somebody interviews you and you say some shit about me, that bald ass nigga, yada, 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 right? And then we get interviewed separately, right? And then they interview me and they be like, so what's up with you in Hometown? I heard, you said something about trying to go with dreads. What's up with that? I was like, oh man, it wasn't really nothing. I just said what I said. I be ranking that nigga all the time. That's what it is.
And that shit ain't gonna get no coverage.
If I was on with Joe Budden on the pull-up, this shit he does on the side, the one nigga that has the biggest podcast, and nobody's gonna be like, oh, that's that. Or somebody be like, oh, he did say that, but you know what? He's lying. He really doesn't like Hometown.
You know that the lies travel faster than the truth.
It wasn't, nigga said, I didn't really think it was a thing. I kind of ignored it until somebody came to me and was like, yo, y'all straight? And then he was like, oh, I have to say something about it because apparently people think we beefing. Let me call him. I called him and I asked him about it. He goes, yeah, I was saying the same thing. You straight with me? Yeah. You straight with me? Yeah. Cool. And that was that. And then what you said is like, yeah, but, since it was an interview, he tried to keep it light. He threw some bars at him. I'm like, yo, what can a nigga do to just say exactly what
I think that they're straight. I just don't feel like they did not throw bars at each other. Just like I feel like J. Cole, Drake, they all throw bars at each other. Wale throws bars at J. Cole all the time. Like, I feel like these niggas throw bars at each other all the time. But it's not like, clear example, we know J. Cole and Wale are like this. But clearly, J. Cole has gave this nigga bars. Wale has given him bars. Like, that's a thing.
But it's known. Like, he said that in the verse. There was and then Wale came back, gave him a song. But he didn't say, they didn't mention each other's names at all. They right. But what happened? Interviews. So they interviewed Wale. It's like, yeah, this and that. He said that. I didn't know he said that. I was shot and taken back, but that's my dog. But I still had to go give him bars. And then we went to the game that night.
Exactly what I'm saying. I gotta give you bars, my nigga.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So why
is it hard for you to just agree with me? You don't like agreeing with me?
Y'all spending way too much time on this one subject.
Did you hear that nigga? He said, that's exactly what I'm saying. He said what it was, and everybody believed him. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. So
we'll
shake hands. We'll shake hands on that. You know what I mean? We'll shake hands. You know what I mean? And we'll just, agree. We agree. We are saying the same thing.
Yes.
I'm
glad you guys.
Speaking of Big Sean, I saw Darius posted the clip in the chat. Y'all watched the video, the little promo video?
Nah, but I know he got a song with Don Kennedy. And that, I'm anticipating that.
Now, so y'all think this is gonna be a good album?
I'm a Big Sean fan. So I'm always think it's good until it's not.
I think it's gonna be good, man. Cause man, I really hope he do have Sada Baby and Pero Giovanni and like all of them on there from Detroit, bro.
Also,
like,
Kanye West executive produced this, and Kanye West executive produced Dark Sky Paradise. So
that was fire.
It was fire.
I think it's gonna be good, man.
I think it's gonna be good. I've been, people, the homies is like, man, I'm tired of this nigga using this fucking flow. And it's just like, I'm not mad at
it's his flow. Like,
that's his,
That's what he do.
I think some niggas just need to say, I don't like rap. It's okay. If you don't like
some
rap.
People just don't like other people. And that's cool. Yeah. If you don't like the nigga, you don't like his music, that's that.
Yeah, that's true.
I done heard plenty of people say, oh, I don't like this. In my head, I'll be like, that shit cool with me, but you have your opinion, and I'm not about to try to convince you that you should like it. You have your opinion. That's that.
I'm waiting on it. I can't wait to hear it next week. D2, Detroit 2, coming from an amazing mixtape to an album. Have you ever seen this successfully done before?
Mixtape to an album?
What was the last mixtape series that went to an album? Oh, well, he did it on a debut album, I guess. Finally Famous, and then Finally Famous the album, right?
Yeah. That was Finally Famous. And that shit was good. I actually really like Finally Famous.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I want this to be a good album because I feel like his rapping has always been great, even though his rapping has always been great. I decided it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like super bad. I just
It
felt
wasn't
like,
horrible, but it wasn't Dark Sky Paradise good.
Nope.
yeah, like I said, it was one of those things. I feel like I don't know. I guess I look at niggas when they do albums, like you can get in the mode and stuff, but I'm one of those people. I gotta see growth every time you drop a body of work. You can drop singles all day. Like he dropped single again, cool record. You know what I mean? But when you drop an album and you one of those guys, I gotta see growth, bro. Like I can't see you go back, or even if you plateau. If you plateau at like, you know what I mean?
Hey man, everybody treats art differently, and
That's
some
true.
people just like to experiment with art in different ways.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I just think he's like, man, what would be a good concept album that feels like two parallels of my life, X, Y, and Z, and he tried it, and some people liked it, some people didn't like it. That's basically what it is. Dark Sky Paradise to me just seemed a lot more real because he was like, I'm going through this shit. Like when a nigga rap about what they're going through, it's so much better to me because sometimes you can feel and hear it in what's being said, and you be like, man, that's some real shit. And he did a good job of picking his features on those songs that he had that just kind of brought it up way more. He did try to do a concept album. I don't think Big Sean's a concept album type guy. He's getting very personal on this, obviously. With the song he dropped with Nipsey, he was very personal on well, not very personal, but he was more personal on Dark Sky Paradise than he was on a lot of his other albums. So that, to me, also is being executive produced by Kanye West. So that, to me, leads me to think it's going to be a great album.
I think the album I'm looking for from Big Sean is, I look for two albums when it comes to these big dog niggas in this era, right? I look for the album that's going to be the like undoubtedly like commercially successful, you know, sounds good, like it has hits, but it has like the B-sides hit as well. I like that big. I want the one that like that takes you, that sets you apart, and then I want the album that's like, put like this. There's a 2014 Forest Hill Drive for each of these rappers, and then there's also the unconventional album that's just like, if you're a true fan, that's the album that you always that you really enjoy low key. You know what I mean? So it's 2014 Forest Hill, and then there's For Your Eyes Only. You know what I mean? And I feel like every artist has those two albums, you know, and I think what's special about Kendrick is that he has more albums that like, he has more range of things he want to give you, but he already done gave you those two. You know what I mean? And I think Drake he's done a commercially successful one, but he hasn't given, I feel like he hasn't given the album that's like, oh, this is the one that's like, he didn't care for the commercial success for this one. He really just wanted to.
If you're reading this, it's too late. That's his album for me.
What?
If you're reading this,
okay,
to me, that's his album. That's like,
which is cool. You know what I mean? And a Big Sean, I think he's given us the commercially successful one in Dark Sky Paradise, but he hasn't given us the one that's like, this album is so good that I'm probably going to listen to this past its prime year when it came out. You know what I mean? Like,
that's Dark Sky Paradise. I'll listen to that.
But I'm saying I'm talking about the one that's like the unconventional, like I wanted to do this and experiment and it worked out so well. I feel like he hasn't done that yet. Kendrick did it with To Pimp a Butterfly. There was something.
I think I decided was it, but it was not it at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. I think that was his attempt, but it didn't work. It wasn't good. So I feel like he still hasn't given us that album that it works. You know what I mean? I feel like Big Crit has given us that album, but he hasn't had an album yet that's been like super commercially, like blow him out the water.
One times 3.
Exactly. You know, so you got one that's, I'm able to continue to give you one, but I can't give you both. And I think that's why I think Kendrick and even J. Cole rather are in special places. Of course, Drake being the numbers guy, he's going to always outsell the most. He's going to always break the record. He has the most hits out of anybody you think of. But he can't give you both albums. He hasn't given us both yet. And his career is amazing. So he's an anomaly. But J. Cole has given us both. Like, J. Cole really don't have to put out no more albums, to be honest. Like, he really don't have to. Like, J. Cole and Kendrick really don't have to put out another album. They really don't have to do that. Like, we want them to because they're so great at what they do, but they really don't have to do that. Like, if they retired, their discography speaks for themselves. You know what I mean? And I think Drake, even though his discography is amazing, we still ain't got that album that's like, man, he really tried something and it fucking worked. Like Drake did that shit. Like he didn't have to get something that was like, we didn't have to get something that sounded like God's plan on the album. Like he said,
if
no.
you're reading this, to me, if you're reading this, is that he dropped it out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought it was a mixtape.
If that is the case, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. But I hope that
you still waiting for one that's a little bit more Jesus weird, so he could be like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?"
Yeah, I guess you know what I mean. But I don't know. Maybe that Drake would just probably never do that, you know. But I feel like maybe this might be another attempt from Big Sean. I feel like Detroit 2 might be this attempt from Big Sean. You know what I mean? Like this, I think it's the most time.
Unconventional?
Huh?
Unconventional attempt?
Yeah, like I feel like he's gonna give us the energy from Detroit 2, but I feel like the content is gonna be in that aspect of what he was trying to do with I Decided. You know what I mean? I feel like we're finna get I Decided, 2088, and fucking a smidgen of Dark Sky Paradise in one project.
I hope not. That what you just described, I hope that doesn't happen.
If you could take the best 3 songs from each of those projects, I feel like you can make a really good project.
Well, I hope it's not this one.
We'll see, man. Next week, definitely want to review that. Any other new music before we get out of here, man?
Mulatto dropped her project.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
her project as well.
I only heard one song from her, but she fine. She fine to me.
What, the music or the person?
No, her.
How did I know, Derek? How did I know?
Yes, nigga.
Hey, man. You know. What it is.
Oh, yeah, I don't have no laptop, y'all, so that's why I didn't drop it. I'm pissed off. My laptop I plugged it in, and I thought it was charging, and it cut off, and that's all she wrote. Went to the computer store, my homeboy guy, he was like, yeah, you can try to change the plug, but if not, it's your motherboard. So whenever I get another computer, that's when I'll start dropping my daily mixes again. As soon as I say, but get back on, I was good too, I was consistent. I was dropping a mix every day. And what happens? Pull the plug on. So I'm gonna try to get back on it. And yeah, man. That's about it with that. So y'all niggas with laptops and working computers, I envy y'all.
Yeah.
Cause I would like to make some music my damn self. We talking about all these songs, and in my head I'm like, yep, I was gonna do that one. I was gonna do this one, and I'm like, sick of you.
Anything we missing, Jazz? Anything we missed out on?
Nope.
No? You all good? Well, shit, man. We can go ahead and wrap this up, my brother.
Yeah, man. Name this one Hometown versus DJ Earl the Fool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
With the Mortal Kombat screen.
Oh, the Locks. The Locks dropped their album too.
Oh yeah, I did watch it.
They dropped it, or are they dropping it?
They just dropped the project, I think.
Yeah, they dropped it.
Real?
Yeah. They dropped the project.
I got to listen to that. I've been on ever since Jada did his verses, I've been wanting to hear more of that kind of music. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah.
See. Well, I guess next time I talk to you guys, hopefully we've all listened to the Big Sean project.
I won't be here. I'll just.
Oh yeah, you gonna be in fucking.
It's my birthday the day y'all gonna do the podcast.
Oh snap!
Oh, so you think that's more important?
Real. For real, come on now.
Oh my
Sorry.
You got a shot.
Sorry.
Where you going?
I'm going to Cali.
This nigga going to California. You finna smoke? Off the record.
Yeah.
Off. Well, that's one thing I'm asking next, I guess in 2 weeks. How sticky was the icky?
That's ain't no iron team, but there's an iron birthday.
It sure is. And I'm gonna be on a different time zone. I can't talk to y'all.
Oh yeah.
Dog be
Hey,
waking
hey
up,
man. Hey, y'all keeping up with P Valley?
No, we're
I
not.
haven't started. I'm gonna start that on
Who's
my
that?
birthday. So exclusive.
That's a show.
Who's that?
It's a
A
show.
show?
Yeah.
Yeah, a show.
Yeah. But this was a cool podcast, you guys.
That's
That's where I'm about to go. That's the eye, y'all boys. That's what that is.
right, y'all.
I'm about to play real quick. I'm trying to watch the game, so.
All right, man. Y'all gotta catch this game too, man. Y'all have a good night, man. This is episode 17. Everybody,
All right,
please follow us at beatsnchill on beatsnchill 813 on Instagram, beatsnchill on Twitter, and beatsnchill on Facebook. We'll also have a YouTube channel, beatsnchill, BEATSNCHILL, and we're on Spotify, Apple Music, and every other major podcast platform. Subscribe, tell a friend, share this episode, add us, you know what I mean? And thank you for listening. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, y'all.